Okay, so we'll jump into the next example in the stock market. I'll read through the question, I'll write down the relevant information, and then we'll work out the various things. So, Maxiford Industrials posted an annual earnings of $1,500,000. Let's write that down. Annual earnings of 1.5 million. It distributed 20% of this as a dividend. So the dividend full dividend is 20% of that. 20% of the dividend to its holders of 200,000 shares. So we know how many shares there are. Shares, 200,000. And they reinvest the rest back into the company. Maxiford Industrial shares are trading at $10.80, the share cost, the market value. Shares, $10.80. Find, and we're going to find the three things that we have the formulas for. First one, find the dividend per share. So, our first formula was the full dividend. Dividend equals dividend per share, which is what we want, multiplied by the number of shares. Because we know this number and the number of shares, we need to rearrange to get this thing on its own. So we're just essentially going to divide both sides by the number of shares. On this side, we just cancel out. Number of shares. So now we've got a little formula for our dividend per share. Equals, we don't know the full dividend, we haven't worked it out. Just plug that into the calculator. 20% of 1.5 million, so we're timesing this by 0.2. And that's 300,000. There we go, so that's what we plug in here, 300,000 divided by 200,000. There's a lot of cancelling going there, but this essentially comes down to $1.50 per share. Okay, part B is going to cancel that out. Part B wants the dividend yield. Just abbreviate it like that. So that was equal to dividend per share divided by the market value of the share times 100. So we just worked out that. We were told that in the start. Starting information. So this equals $1.50 divided by $10.80. and then multiplied by 100. So the dividend yield equals 13.8, and I'll round it to 89%. Okay, part C is asking for price per earnings ratio, and that equals market value per share, which is $10.80, and that's divided by the annual earnings per share. So this annual earnings, not the dividend, this $500,000, the annual earnings, but we need per share. So we need to do a little sub calculation and divide the annual earnings by the number of shares. And that will tell us the annual earnings per share. Sorry, I'm abbreviating stuff in letters. Divided by 200,000. Please make sure you don't put it wrong. This equals $7.50 per share. So that's what we plug in here. So this price per earnings ratio is equal to $10.80 divided by $7.50. Equals 1.44. No units for this because it's a ratio of $2 amounts. So that's quite low. This is quite high, which means this would be probably a good company to invest money in. A better return than some of the others we've seen so far. Okay. So I've got it's a standard sort of question revolving around working out these values that relate to companies. Okay, so the next example. Okay, so this question starts off, it wants us to find the annual gain to an investor in this company who owns some shares. So it wants us to compare what their shares were worth at the start of the year and at the end of the year. Okay, so this is an investor that has 500 shares. In a company, and at the start of the year, they had a market value. This is the start. The market value was $3.80. 1 year ago, they're now worth $4.90. And now, the market value is $4.90. So they've increased in value. So we would hope there is some kind of gain. During the course of the year, the company paid shareholders dividends totaling 25 cents per share. So, dividend paid equals 0.25 per share. Okay, so that should really be all we need. So the question is essentially asking us to work out what 500 shares at this value is. compared to 500 shares at this value. Then finding the difference, and then because that will be the gain, but we also then have to add in this dividend that was paid. So at the start, we've got, all we're doing is working out what 500 shares cost, $3.80 each. Equals $1,900. And then we go now. So those 500 shares are now worth $4.90 each. Total of 2,450. So from the shares value over this year, we started at this and they increased. So there was a gain there. Now let's, before we work out what the gain is, we'll also work out what the dividend received was. The dividend equals 500 times 25 cents per share. An extra $125. So now we've worked out all those numbers, let's look back at the question and try and answer that. So if at the end of the year they were worth this, at the start they were worth that, let's take the small one from the big one. Wrong place. 0, 5, 9, 14, 5. So the gain in market, just in market value, $550. But then we're also going to add on the dividend that was received because the company earned some money. So we've got 6, 7, 5 annual gain. Okay, I hope that made sense. That was just essentially multiplying each of the numbers we had by the number of shares and then working out the difference. And so this is gain because it's paid out to the person who owns the shares, and this is what they're worth. Okay. So I've got one more example. And this involves buying some shares and then selling them a year later. So it's kind of similar calculation, except we need to keep track of money going out and money coming in, so we can work out if this person made a profit. So here's the details. Tracy purchased 2,000 Ranger Dynamic shares at $2.75 and sold them a year later when their value was $3.20. Okay, so let's write down 2,000 shares. Buy price. That's the market value when they were bought. It was $2.75. Sell price. That's the market value a year later. It's $3.20. During the year of her investment, she had the benefit of 4 quarterly 15% dividends paid to shareholders. Find Tracy's profit, given that she also had to pay her stock brokerage of 2%, both when buying and selling the shares. Right. So let's first calculate the buying costs. So we've got 2,000 shares and we're multiplying by the buying price. So that equals $5,500. But we also have to pay the brokerage of 2%. So on buy or sell. That's the bit we're doing now. So we're just going to work out 2% of this, and that's like just the fee for transferring these to somebody's name for buying them. So we're going to multiply this by 0.02. And so the extra brokerage that we have to pay is $110. So that's what the share costs. That was the fee that had to be paid to get them. So we've got that amount and that amount that we're paying. When we receive money, I'll change colour. So we've got $2,000 times the selling price equals, and I'm going to change this to red. 2,400, and I'm changing to red because this is money that is being received back. We need to keep track of this so we can do a little calculation to see what the profit is. Okay, so we also need to find 2% of this because the sale also has the times 0.02, and that equals $128. So I'm leaving that in black because that's another cost. So now we need to work out the dividend. So the way this is phrased, during the year of her investment, she had the benefit of 4 quarterly 15 cents per share. I'm saying percent there, but it's 15 cents. Paid shareholders. Okay, so this happens 4 times per year, and of course we have the shares for a whole year. So to work out this dividend, we're going to have it. That's 15 cents converted to dollars, multiplied by 4 because we get it 4 times, and multiplied by 2,000 so that we can work out the total. So this equals $1,200. Oh, actually, that in red. That is money that is being received, not being paid out. Okay, so in this little space here, so we want to see if Tracy makes a profit. So first we need to work out the money that's come in. So we're going to add these two together, and then we're going to take away this cost and this cost and this cost. Hopefully these add up to more. So we've got in red, oops, 200 equals, right, let's write it over here so I can do a subtraction. 7, 6, 0, 0. In the black, we've got 5,500 plus 110 plus 128, and that equals 5, 7, 3, 8. And now I'm going to take 7,600. I'm going to take away, this was the money that came in, the money that it cost. So I'm subtracting, and we end up with $1,862. So that's profit from investing in the shares, selling at a higher price, and also getting dividend. Sometimes if the brokerage price only goes up a little bit, sometimes the brokerage can wipe out any profit if you don't have time to receive a dividend. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave it.